the little girl was rushing to school, but she suddenly realized that the man next to her was her husband. But her husband didn't recognize her. He walked away carelessly with a puzzled look on his face. So after school the little girl came directly to his house. When she came into the house, the little girl looked nostalgic. She told the man that she was his wife and the mother of his daughter. The man couldn't help laughing when he heard it. He thought the little girl was joking, but the little girl rushed into her daughter's room without saying a word and touched her daughter's face. Then the little girl ran downstairs and found her own portrait in the living room. She scolded them for using such an ugly photo when she had many beautiful photos.
私が死んだのが10年前。つまり、10年前に死んで、また生まれ変わった。はい?今日いきなり思い出したんだよ。私、新島高江だって。
The father and daughter thought the little girl's brain was broken. Just about to call her parents, the little girl started to blame them when she saw the takeaway lunch on the table. There were such beautiful plates at home. Even if it was takeaway, it should be put on the plate to eat. Otherwise, her plate would be sold in vain. Suddenly, the little girl realized it was getting late, so she had to go back first. Before leaving, the little girl said she would come again tomorrow. After saying that, she left happily. Only the father and daughter were left in the house with puzzled faces. The next day, the little girl went straight to their house after school, but she found that no one was at home, so she skillfully found the spare key under the flower pot beside her. When she entered the house, she found her hidden private money as soon as possible. Then she opened the memorial album. She looked at the once happy family with a happy face. But when she saw a blank page, she realized that her daughter and husband were not happy in the 10 years after her death, so she decided to do something for them. After returning, she called the man and asked him to meet her at the old place. He hung up the phone before he could speak. The man didn't take it to heart. He recalled that he was always late when he dated his wife before. But halfway through, the little girl really arrived at the old place. Even her expression was exactly the same as his deceased wife. At this time, he was completely shocked. The little girl told him that she was his wife. The man was shocked instantly. She even added his contact information. From then on, the little girl sent messages to the man every day. The man felt puzzled. After school, the little girl even found the man's daughter and told her that she was her mother. The little girl also cares about the other person's work situation, even pinched her face. This made me feel very uncomfortable. She got up and left here quickly. In the evening, the little girl sent another good night message. The man wanted to reply with a good night message after seeing it, but after thinking about it, he feel it is not good. The next morning, the little girl came directly to the man's house. The little girl wanted to go into the house, but the man said that some friends would come to the house and asked her to leave. Unexpectedly, the little girl scolded him and asked him to clean up the yard so that he could entertain his friends. After cleaning up the yard, the little girl personally prepared dinner for him to entertain his friends. She looked very skilled. When the daughter came back and saw the little girl in her kitchen, she angrily asked the little girl to leave because that was where her mother often stayed before she died. The little girl was driven out like this. She waited outside until the evening, peeping over the wall. She accidentally heard the man say that he was going to sell the house and move away. The little girl was a little sad. After her friends left, the little girl went into the house again. This time the man didn't chase her away. He invited her to have a cup of coffee and told the little girl that he would move out soon because the person he loved the most was gone. He no longer had any hope in life. After hearing this, the little girl sat down next to the man. Holding his face, she comforted him and cheered him up. She said, "I am the reincarnation of your wife, so I will always be with you." But the man thought the little girl was talking nonsense and chased her out again. Until noon the next day, the man suddenly received a takeaway during his lunch break. He took a bite out of curiosity. The spicy taste brought tears to his eyes, but he didn't dislike it. Instead, he stuffed the food into his mouth crazily, because he knew clearly that this was his wife's cooking 10 years ago. At this moment, he was finally convinced that the little girl was really his wife's reincarnation, and his daughter also received a package. Inside was a birthday cake. It was filled with numbers after her 10th birthday. This was the first time she received a birthday cake after her mother passed away. She believed that her mother was really back, so she ran to school. When she saw the little girl was about to call her, her father called out her mother's name first.
本当に高江なのか?
北朝霞駅のホーム。あなたが私にプロポーズした場所。結婚記念日は3月20日。最初にくれたプレゼントはトマトの形のコースター。
初めて食べた君の夜食は眠気も吹っ飛ぶパンチの効いた。
The family finally recognized each other. They were reunited in this way, but things were not that simple.
君が18歳になったら結婚しよう。
はい。
A middle-aged man confessed his love to a primary school student. He said he would marry her in the future, but he was not a pervert. It was because his wife was reincarnated as a primary school student. He hadn't seen his wife for 10 years. The man was happy and asked her to scold him more. But his wife scolded him. I will remember that my previous life was a complete miracle. Even if I'm not here anymore, you should get back on your feet for the sake of your daughter. The daughter was also happy that her mother came back, although it was in such a special way. In fact, the wife felt guilty. She didn't expect her husband to age so much because of her death. From then on, the man would send his wife home every night. The father and daughter also cheered up. They started to cook their own food and lived every day seriously. The wife would prepare lunch for the man every day when she got up, then give it to him on the way to school. The man is therefore full of energy at work every day. He took a photo of his wife as his phone wallpaper. He looked at his wife's photo while working. Even his colleagues felt his happiness. After get off work, the man went to pick up his wife from school. He saw his wife coming from a distance. He quickly hid aside and prepared to give his wife a surprise. But at this time, a little boy found his wife and confessed to her.
白石のこと好き。俺と付き合ってくれ。
The man was shocked. He knew that his wife had many suitors when she was alive. This made him feel very anxious. He didn't expect that his wife would still be so popular after becoming an elementary school student. Thinking of this, he accidentally fell down the hillside. After being discovered by his wife, he could only get up in embarrassment. Then he drove away this little rival. After arriving at a nearby restaurant, his wife asked him if he was jealous.
さすが小学生相手にそれはないよ。
まあそういうね。
で、どうすんの？
はい
次会うのか？
なわけないでしょ。相手小学生。
そうだよな。
Soon it was the weekend. The daughter plucked up the courage to go out to attend the social gathering. So the couple decided to go out for a private date. The long-awaited date made both of them feel very happy. After watching a movie, the family gathered at the football field. And the little rival was there. The husband suddenly felt a sense of crisis again. After a while, the daughter came over. The little boy scored a goal. The wife couldn't help but cheer for him. The little boy gave her a handsome smile.
うわ、眩しい。やるわね、小学生だし。
Finally, the family took pictures of this happy moment here. But when the wife returned home, her mother suddenly called her fiercely.
今日は家にいるって言ってたわよね。母親に嘘ついて。